So we're back. If you remember, we were taking off from Bujumbura Airport. So I'm plotting in our course that we want to take, and I thought that I would share a little bit about where we're going to be going. As you can see, we're going to be following the eastern coast of our very famous large lake that I still can't pronounce, but it's okay. Um, and probably about 200 miles of that, right? Because the lake itself is about 400 miles. So we're going to make a pretty decent trek of it and take that coast down. But what I want to show you is where we're going to be stopping because there's some pretty neat stuff going on. So one of our first areas that we're going to kind of fly over is this Bururi Forest Nature Preserve. And I don't know much about it. There's a lot of really cool pictures that you can find online. You got some waterfalls, some places to visit, of course. We're not going to be landing there, but I think it might present itself with a really cool flyover. So let's just take a look as we go down. And then if we keep going down the coast, right along the coast here, as you can see that I have pinned on Earth, is Jane Goodall's house. And for those of you that may or may not know, right, Jane was the one who had a lot of work done with the chimpanzees in that area. She's been in several documentaries. So her historic home, I can spend some more time looking this up, but her historic home is over here. So this would be pretty cool to take a flyover. I don't think we're going to be able to see it. It's kind of buried in, right? You can kind of see maybe some structure here in the earth. So not sure how well detailed the maps are going to be, but we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. And then if we continue down the coast, there's this really neat little peninsula here in Kigoma. It's a pretty populated town, about 200,000, a little over 200,000, close to a quarter million people that live here. And one of our targets, at least, is going to be a flyover of a very large Catholic church that's going to be there. So just could be a pretty view as we kind of enjoy the coastal view and hook. And then we're going to hook east, and then we're going to come to a town called Ujiji. And it's a very old town. If you see, I'm sharing on Wikipedia here again. Just you can always look it up yourself too. It's kind of fun. But it's one of the oldest towns, or the oldest town in western Tanzania. And it was the site of a famous interaction between Dr. Livingstone, who was a missionary and explorer who got lost, and Henry Stanley ended up finding him here. There's actually an actual Livingstone museum here as well too, so there's some history behind there. So it'd be kind of cool to do a little flyover of that area. And then we got bit of flying over not much more that's very populated here. We're going to be taking maybe a little bit of the coast, but our main target's going to be this Mahale Mountain National Park, and it's very rural, as you can see when I zoom in here. The flight plan that I'm going to take, though, I'm going to take us all the way through the southeastern edge here of the mountainside, and then we're going to kind of follow it into this old airstrip. In fact, it's so rural that it's not even on Google Earth as a point. So it appears to be pretty visual. So hopefully the airstrip, I'll get a good visual on it. If not, we might call a mulligan and head over to this other side of the lake, because there's a couple more major airports over here. But nonetheless, we're going to gas up. We're going to our supplies, because we might be here for a bit without any places and towns and hotels. I mean, there is some here, but I think it's more rural, national parky, if you will. And then we'll continue our journey towards Victoria Falls. It's really our ultimate goal, or our next major goal, is to hit Victoria Falls, which is more south, a little bit west of where we're at. So we're going to make our way down the lake and, through Zambia and continue on to Victoria Falls. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and finalize the flight plan, and we will get started. So let's do this. Okay, so just went through my checklist. We're started up here and we're ready to taxi out. Maybe another time I'll go through the startup procedure. It's not too detailed, but could be interesting to do, but I don't want to have to do that with you every single time. So either way, we're going to go ahead and taxi out, take off, and then we'll go from there. So here we go. Pretty small airport. We should be up in the air shortly.
Bujumbura Tower, Cessna Juliet, November, tree 16 ready at runway tree 5 north departure.
Cessna Juliet, November, tree 16 altimeter, tree 0.091 com departure to the north approved. Cleared for takeoff runway tree 5.
Cleared for takeoff runway tree 5, Cessna tree 16.
Alright, so let's get set up here for a second. He just called our altimeter at what? 3009er. Alright, let's head straight out to start with. We are doing VFR, so we're kind of on our own here. Let's just hang out around 6,500 feet for now. That sounds about good. Should get us up pretty quickly. And since we are flying VFR, I don't think I need to keep that on now for commands, but flaps down. Heading plugged in. Vertical speed plugged in. We're all set. Here we go. Airborne. Throttle back a little bit. Beautiful. I just love getting up.
Cessna tree 16 continue for north departure.
Bujumbura Tower, Cessna Juliet, November, tree 16 continue for north departure.
Alright. And navigate. Our first stop is going to be, here's my flaps here, that national park that we're going to be doing a little bit of a flyover. So we'll tune back in shortly once we get close and take a look around. All right. Thought I would hop in and just show you some stuff while we're flying. These forests love these mountainside cities. Man, it must be crazy getting up some of those roads, you know. Yeah, let's take a look outside. I mean, look at that. All these houses that are scattered. These rolling hills and mountains. Really cool. Looks like we need to climb up a little bit higher. higher. The altitude's a little lower than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, making our way to the National Park, Refuge, whichever one it was. And I think look at my custom, we're about 25 nautical miles away, so not too much further. So we'll tune in shortly. All right, so we are approaching, just as a little refresher, I suppose. Try to show you the, well, the browser's not working right now, so I'm not going to worry about that. Try one more time. There we go. So we are approaching this nature reserve. I mean, I'm not sure how large it is, but as you can see, let's go ahead and jump back in the plane here. We are kind of going over it right now. It's fascinating because, I mean, so much of the topography is, and the environment is, it's certainly not barren. You know, it looks fairly fertile, but there's just this section that is just almost jungle. It's fascinating. We're going to jump out of the plane for a second here. Let's take a closer look. Looks like we got a road that leads way up top crest here. We are flying, as you probably saw, about 9,200 feet-ish, I think. So just dense forest right here. Looks like we got the administrative housing or park housing, I'm not sure. But yeah. I'm sure there's some pretty amazing wildlife in there. Cool. All right. Well, let's continue on, and for visual purposes, so as you know, we're taking this, and then now we're going to head and try to follow along the coast here and supposedly fly over Jane Goodall's house, at least when she was in this area. So, I don't know. See how that works out. Sounds kind of fun. So, see you back shortly. All right. So we're getting pretty close. Let me do this. Sorry. So we can kind of peek on at least GPS-wise what we're looking at. I'm gonna take this off autopilot. We're gonna get a little lower. Follow the coast a bit. Maybe we can see something a little, because I pinned it, but not exactly where I thought. Oh, look at the reflection on the water. That's fantastic. Watch my altitude. I might even wait for the 500 feet warning and just hang out around that, but we'll see. Why not?
500.
Alright, it's about 2,500 feet. Sea level here. Let's trim this out a bit. So as you see on the map in the lower right, the Garmin, it's still supposedly up there a little bit. Try to stay around 3,000 feet. might have been it, at least the area. That was right about where I pinned too. That was kind of cool, huh? Yeah, I saw that. You know, I never really pictured, I really didn't know what to imagine, but I never really pictured her, you know, along the water here. I just figured, you know, buried deep in the jungle or something. But what a beautiful place to spend the time, though. People and the nature, pretty fantastic. All right, well, I'm gonna get this back up to elevation and on course, and we'll tune in actually pretty shortly as we approach some of this cool peninsula that I want to take a look at too. All right, see you in a bit. All right, so we're back. I'm actually going to do a circle back on this peninsula because my first flyover wasn't as close. And you can see the church we're looking for over there is at the top of the hill there. You know, the building renderings aren't perfect, but they are still pretty neat, you know. So yeah, there we go. There's the landmarker that we wanted to go see. At least this time. And I'm gonna correct the plane and swing on around, and we'll come back together at the next stop. See you in a few. All right. So I'm not quite sure what we're gonna see here, but this is the old town of Ujiji, and right before this turn here, right? Yep. Somewhere over there is the museum and where all this history happened. So it's kind of neat to be able to fly by these areas. So yeah, there's Ujiji. At least virtually, right? It's kind of neat to use your imagination and visit these places. So, all right, so I'm gonna put this back in and get us on course for this next stop over here. We're gonna be flying over a bit of space here, so I'm gonna get this back on autopilot, and we'll tune in as we get closer to our destination and our little trip alongside the mountain there. All right, cool. Stay tuned, hang in there. All right. Mahale, or probably actually pronounced Mahale, but that's just a guess. National Park. The mountain itself is a significant feature here, it said. It is kind of a cool looking mountain. And as mentioned, we're going to kind of hit the base of the mountain and follow that back because supposedly, excuse me kids, the airstrip is probably where one of those markers are, is back there, so should be a straight fly into. So we'll see, because as you can see, we're nearing our turn back to enter our landing pattern. So yeah, let me give you a quick outside view, and we'll tune back in when we're alongside the mountain, and then of course we will land together. Cool stuff. So I took over manual flight because at my turn here, I didn't realize I'd be flying between a valley of the mountain peaks. And I guess big question is, am I okay in this valley or not? Just looking at my map, as you can see. Actually, maybe either will be okay. No, I think I need to take this one over here. One a bit more to the north. So, alright, well, I will continue my manual journey through the valley here, which, by the way, is really beautiful. So this is, again, Mahale, but I'm guessing Mahale. Anyways, just really pretty. So, break for a little bit, and we'll talk together when we're close to landing. Alright, so, just coming over the crest of the mountain here. I'll show you that. So we had a bit of a rise that we were going over on our way down to this strip, which again would be the easiest thing to spot. So let's see. I should have jotted it down, but I think our altitude for the runway is, say, around 3,000 feet, but we'll call that in when we get there. Wish Mr. Co-Pilot would
Hotel Tango Mike Lima, traffic Cessna Juliet November, tree 168 miles southeast, 5,600 feet, inbound to land runway tree 1.
Alright, well, I guess ATC won't be yelling at me because I don't think anybody's in the tower. Alright, so we're coming in for the landing. We'll kick it off for a few minutes so you don't have to hang on the whole time. And tune back in right as we're making our final. Alright. So I've got a visual runway. Correcting course a bit. Looks like just a grass dirt runway as I expected. Bit of wind here.
500.
Probably rolling off the mountains. So yeah, I guess about 3,700 feet. So it's a bit off in my altitude. Cessna here is the nice good landing gear to take our journey on places like this when we don't have pavement. So this is pretty cool. So let's get ourselves parked. Maybe pull this away. All right. Turn the engine off. Fuel tanks. And we still got a decent amount of fuel. So as I said, I wanted to fill up before I left because there's not much here. So we might check ourselves in at the airport or the office here. And yeah, that beautiful. Imagine if we really can just do this. Travel wherever we want like this. Well, there's the mountain, quite the view. And we got the water out this way with looks like the sun's setting. So should be a nice night. So thanks for coming along on the journey, and as we make our way around the world. Talk to you next time. God bless.